Thank you. Alan Brown, please.
Thanks, Chair. Basil, can I just start with you? So in your answering questions to Darren there, and trying to explain the underspend incentive, you said peak demand forecast from, say, 2015, was it realised? So does that not suggest it's the forecast that's wrong, rather than anything that you've done to merit keeping that money?
No, there's no question that the forecast was wrong, because back in the industry forecast a certain take-up of low-carbon technology and possible increase in peak demand as you transition and electrify transport and etc. That hasn't eventuated. The demand hasn't come about. Peak demand has decreased. Therefore, to be spending the money, the regulatory regime, as I said, it basically says the first 20% underspent, you share with customers. There's an incentive, for, in other words, to deliver as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, but if you've just said, yeah, the forecast wasn't right, and you're keeping 20% of that money that's not been needed to spend to reinforce the network, why do you get rewarded for that forecast not being right? Because then in the future, you're going to come back at some point in the future when that peak demand is going to be realised, and you're going to say, Mr. Regulator, we need money from the customers to pay for this investment where we kept 20% of that money previously because it wasn't needed then. So you're actually getting a 20% return on not upgrading.
No, the first 20%, firstly, you share with customers, and that's delivered through efficiency improvements. Right? Anything above that is actually 100% returned to customers. Therefore, there's no... So just understand, the first 20...
You're still getting some money just by not spending.
The first 20% is shared. The first 20% is shared with customers, roughly 50% each, right? And you're expected to deliver more efficiently than the you're incentivised to deliver more efficiently that the regulator allows you, which is set...
Just be clear, you're getting a portion of money that was not spent because it wasn't needed for peak demand at that point. So you as a company get a portion of that, and the customers get a portion.
Yes, yes,
so
correct.
So for not doing work that was forecast, it just so happens not needed, you still keep a portion of that money.
Well, you're making the assumption that it's just not work done. I'm saying to you it's both. It's efficiency improvements, that you're delivering a certain level of work at less money.
You're the one that said it's a peak demand wasn't required. Sorry. Okay, I'll just turn to yourself, Chris. You'd mentioned flexibility in terms of deferring investment. Is that not the same thing, really, what I'm trying to get at there with Basil? If you're just deferring investment, all you're doing is kicking it into the next investment period. So again, it's not really saving customers money, but actually it's incentivising yourselves, because you get a reward for deferment, and then customers pay for that at a future date.
I think the principle here is that we're not encouraged to spend customers' money if it's not needed, and I think that principle is sound. If we can use flexibility to defer that investment, that is to the benefit of customers as well. And I think the regime encourages us to only use... We have a flexibility first mindset across all of our investment decisions. So do we need to invest at all? And if that demand is needed, is there another way of meeting it without having to build more network? And it's only at the end of that do we then build the network.
Yeah, but the very word defer means delay, put back. So that if you're deferring, you're actually saying we'll still do that in the future. So surely it's better value to get it done rather than paying companies to defer it.
Well, possibly it's deferred temporarily, or possibly it's deferred permanently. I think that where we need to get to, though, is having a more holistic view of our network. If we're taking a net zero first approach and looking well ahead and saying, well, what do we actually need to build here? And then we can work through, because we don't want to be the blocker. SSE has got a very ambitious net zero acceleration programme. We're spending up to 25 billion this decade. We're absolutely at the forefront of wanting to be the green energy champion for the UK. So there's no shortage of appetite to invest, but we do need to invest at the right time, in the right place, and in the right way.
Which suggests it's not getting identified properly each investment phase then. if you're saying, well, it's not actually the right time to invest, we should delay that.
Well, it's using technology and emerging technology to look again. So, you know, the original demand forecast that we're talking about was set, I don't know, 9 or 10 years ago. And obviously a lot has changed since then. And there has been more innovation and technology. So, you know, if we can apply, you know, active network management to manage that demand in a different way, if we can work with suppliers to find different ways of offsetting that demand, that's a good thing. And customers, you know, benefit from that.
Okay. Can I just turn to yourself, Lawrence? Ofgem have said that Energy Network Association's Open Networks programme is not progressing at the necessary pace or being implemented consistently, and it's created complex, uncoordinated and hard to navigate markets. So what do you say to that?
Well, I think the first point is, as I said earlier, the Open Networks programme has actually generated some 2,500 projects that are live on our system at the moment. Last year, it was able, off the back of work that the Open Networks project had undertaken, it was able to deliver flexibility services to the tune of 3.7 gigawatts. But where I think it is fair is that, like any project, and as we've heard this morning, the whole landscape that we operate in is changing massively quickly. And so it's right and proper that we and Ofgem and our members look at programs such as Open Networks and say, right, okay, how do we move it on to the next level? How do we upgrade? How do we move this on to keep delivering the kind of services and the kind of cost savings that we've done so far for consumers?
I suggest Ofgem's right, not progressing at the necessary pace. So how do you take it to the next level? How do you get it to progress at pace?
Well, with that consultation has only just come out, so literally I've only had one or two reads through it, Mr. Round. But we will sit down with the regulator, we will sit down with our member companies and say, right, okay, what do we need from this? What resources do we need to put into it? And we will deliver. I mean, I think one thing that I hope you've heard this morning is that there is an absolute commitment from not just my association but the membership to deliver on the part of consumers. And if we have to take challenging decisions that says that isn't working, we need to go back and do something differently to speed it up, we will do so.
Just one quick question to Chris. In the wider SSE group, Corey Glass, pumped storage hydro, which is needed for flexibility across the entire system, how long has that been sitting ready to go, consented, but waiting in some sort of route to market?
Well, I mean, I don't know the precise answer to that question, that we have business separation between our networks and generation business, but you mentioned long-term duration storage, and I think that is, in fact, I think the ESO has said that we need a lot more of that, and it addresses some of the Chair's earlier question around potential constraints from wind farms. So it's one of those flexible natural resources that can help balance the system. But it's not an area that I can particularly speak on as the networks organisation, I'm afraid.
Thank you.